All right, temperature. So temperature is the average energy of particles in motion. That means that the more particles move, the higher the temperature. We're going to be looking at degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius, and Kelvin for units of temperature. FYI, Kelvin is not degrees Kelvin. There is no such thing. It is simply Kelvin, which is a capital K. So if I want to convert it into Kelvin, you need to take degrees Celsius plus 273, and that's going to be Kelvin. Okay, you have to memorize this. If you want to convert something from Kelvin back to degrees Celsius, and I had this question the other day, you have to take Kelvin minus 273, and that will equal degrees Celsius. Okay? Okay. Let's take a look at student exercise 26. Convert negative 25 degrees Celsius to Kelvin. So negative 25 degrees Celsius plus 273 will equal something in Kelvin. So negative 25 plus 273 is going to be 248 Kelvin. And I have good news. You don't have to worry about significant figures when you're doing temperature conversions. You just round it to the nearest whole number. I'm totally cool with that. And we move on. Just make sure that you include the appropriate unit. Okay? Okay, now, when we're talking about degrees Fahrenheit and degrees Celsius, there are a couple of other equations. You can memorize one of them, and then if you're really good at rearranging for variables, then great, go ahead and do that. But if you're not, I would suggest memorizing these two equations. So if I'm going to convert to degrees Celsius from degrees Fahrenheit, you're going to use this equation. So when you have something in degrees Fahrenheit, then you're going to put it right here. And you're going to subtract 32, and then you're going to divide it by 1.8. That will give you something in degrees Celsius. If you need to convert degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit, then you're going to do something different. Somebody has the hiccups, and it's really funny. Okay. So you're going to take something in degrees Celsius, and you're going to multiply it by 1.8, and you're going to add 32, and that's going to give you something in degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? So for this, let's take a look at student exercise number 27. So if you've got 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and I want to convert it to degrees Celsius, I'm going to subtract 32, and then divide by 1.8. If you're going to do this in one step in your calculator, you have to put parentheses around the 55 minus 32 first. Otherwise, it's going to give you the wrong answer. And if by some fluke you get the right answer by not including parentheses, great. I'm happy for you. But I'm just telling you that when you're doing more than one operation in the numerator or the denominator, you've got to include parentheses. Okay? So you have parentheses 55 minus 32. Close the parenthesis. Divided by 1.8. You're going to end up with 12.7777. We're going to round it to a whole number, which would be 13, which is this. Okay? Okay, now, let's take a look at student exercise number 28. Convert 310 Kelvin to Fahrenheit. Okay, so there is no direct conversion between Kelvin and Fahrenheit. The only thing you can do is go from Kelvin to degrees Celsius, and then degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit. This is a two-step problem. So, step number 1. We're going to convert Kelvin to degrees Celsius. So we're going to take 310 Kelvin, and we're going to subtract 273. And that's going to give us degrees Celsius. It's 37 degrees Celsius. Okay? Now, step number 2. You've got to convert degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to use a different equation. We're going to put 37 degrees Celsius down, and we're going to multiply it by 1.8. So 1.8 times 37 degrees Celsius, and then we're going to add 32, and that's going to give us degrees Fahrenheit. So 1.8 times 37 plus 32 is 98.6. So we're going to round that up to 99 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's your final answer. Okay? Now, within this section in your textbook, they also mention specific gravity. So I gave you the definition for specific gravity in the chapter handout. Just know it. It's the ratio of the density of a liquid to the density of water at 4 degrees Celsius. Okay? Now, the homework here is the temperature conversion worksheet. You have to show me work. Okay? I require work on all homework. And that's all you have to do for that.